Steamy Sodor. The Fat Controller is very proud of his steam engines. Ever since steam engines first came to the island of Sodor, the Fat Controller decided to have a railway show with a display of steam engines called Steamy Sodor. Thomas and his friends were very excited about the idea, except for the 5 Bad Diesel Shunters. They were very cross. "Why is it," grumbled Diesel, "that the Fat Controller is putting up Steamy Sodor for all the steamies on the island? Why couldn't he put a display of diesels like us, for instance?" mumbled Splatter and Dodge. Just then, they heard a hoot, and they saw it was their old friend, Class 40. "Hello, Diesel Shunters," he oiled. "What seems to be the matter?" The Diesels told Class 40 about the steam engines being in a display called Steamy Sodor. "And the Fat Controller never put us in a display about diesel," finished Harry and Bert. "Well, if you want to have a display of diesels," said Class 40, "then let's make our own display of diesels right here in Vickerstown." The Diesel Shunters thought this was a very good idea. "Now let's get all the things we need," said Class 40. "Follow me." The Diesel Shunters followed Class 40. Harry and Bert went to collect the plain banners. Splatter and Dodge went to collect flatbeds and paint pots. And Diesel and Class 40 went for the other supplies for the display. No one suspected anything. The next day, Thomas and the other engines were at Knapford Station. They looked very puzzled. So does the Fat Controller. "I don't understand. I asked you engines to collect the supplies for the Steamy Sodor display, and there don't seem to be any," he thought. "How could they have gone?" The other engines were very confused. "The banners and paint pots can't just disappear," puzzled James. "What could have happened to them?" said Thomas. "Maybe somebody has been taking them," wheezed Percy. "But who can it be?" Meanwhile, Class 40 and the Diesel Shunters have all the supplies for their display. "Excellent," said Class 40. "Now all we need is a group of very important passengers to come to see the display of diesels." "But how do we get all the passengers come here?" asked Splatter. "Leave it to me," replied Class 40. But they didn't know that somebody nearby had heard everything. It was Bear. The next day, Thomas, Percy and James were in the shed when Bear rolled up. "I found all the supplies," he hooted. "Class 40 and the Diesel Shunters have got them all for their own display." "So Class 40 was behind all this," wheezed Thomas. "He's not being fair," huffed Percy. "We must tell the Fat Controller," puffed James. When they got to Knapford, they were just in time to see Class 40 collecting the very important passengers. "I know you will love it," said Class 40. Before Thomas, Percy and James can stop him, Class 40 rolled out of the station. The Fat Controller came out of his office. "What's Class 40 doing here?" he asked. Thomas told him what Bear said. The Fat Controller was very cross. "Come on, let's follow that diesel." Thomas, Percy and James raced off. On the way, Thomas told Toby, Lady and Duck. Percy told Oliver, Donald and Douglas. And James told Edward, Gordon and Henry. Soon the 12 steam teams were chasing after Class 40 all the way to Vicarstown. Here we are, the display of diesels, Class 40 announced. But the very important passengers didn't cheer. Instead, they were very cross and shouted at Class 40. Then, the Fat Controller arrived with Thomas and the steam teams. He was most annoyed. Class 40, I am very disappointed in you. You and the Diesel Shunters have taken all the supplies for the Steamy Sodor display and the passengers to your own diesel display without my permission. Class 40 groaned. You will take the passengers back to Knapford at once, went on the Fat Controller. And then he turned to the Diesel Shunters. As for you, he thundered, you will take all the supplies back to where you got them from. Yes, sir, said the Diesels. And that's what they did. A few days later, everything was back to where they should be. The Steamy Sodor displays was amazing. The engines felt very proud. The visitors were very impressed. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, said the Fat Controller. They showed how valuable they are to the smooth runnings of my railway. I'm sure you'll all agree that they are all very reliable and really useful engines. Everybody, including the Diesels, cheered. Class 40 and the Diesel Shunters just said nothing at all.